So when we're starting to build out this mathematical framework on how we describe motion, we always want to start with the basic things. Is the position. Where is an object located? And so position, just to build off from our algebra knowledge, is to say like, well, let's just use a simple xy coordinate system. Okay? So when we do an xy coordinate system, we're really thinking about like, and remember, we're doing 1D motion right now. We're talking about using a number line. So we're talking about imagining an object, an ant that can only travel left or right or up or down or anything like that. So we are just doing 1D motion. We will learn how to extend this into higher dimensional motion later on, but for now we're going to stick really, really simple. And the position and the location could just be a number line. All right, so number line is what we're kind of starting off with here. Now in the number line, we always want to think about like, oh, there's a location, there's a 0, right? A 1, 2, 3, like kind of like a number line you would have done in grade school. This is the location of something. It's really important that you think about this because we're building out that foundation because it will get more advanced very quickly. So displacement is literally the change in position. It's just simply saying, where do you start and where do you end? It's actually independent of the path. So let's imagine that we have an object that starts at 1, it goes here, and then it ends up here, and it ends here. So this is the starting point. And then the ant moved right, and then it moved left, and this is the ending point. Now, when we talk about displacement is simply the change in the position. It's independent of the path that you take, and it's a vector. So the way you draw the displacement is you say it's going to be from here to here. It is going to be this vector that has a length and a direction. Okay, so it's independent of the path. It doesn't matter that it went to the 3 and to the -2. Displacement is just simply what is the change in the position of the object. It started, where it ended. This is like kind of the simplest way to describe a motion is to say where did it start and where did it end. Okay, so you draw an arrow so it has a direction. In this case, the magnitude is the length of it. So the magnitude of this would be 3. So it would be the displacement you could describe as 3 units to the left. That's one way to describe the displacement. Just to say like, that's saying the direction, which way did it go, and then the length was 3 units here. It went from 1 to 1, 2, 3 units to the left. Okay, it's path independent. So it doesn't matter that we went in like a whole bunch of different ways. It just matters where we started and where we ended. Now, in physics, we have a standard unit. Standard unit of measurement is meters. So meters is the standard measurement that we use. And for vectors like displacement, we assign a direction to which way is positive and which way is negative. So rather than saying to the left or to the right, we will assign a direction. Now, in a normal number line system, okay, the numbers are increasing to the right, so we say right is the positive direction, okay, in this instance. And so the displacement, we would say, is -3 because the arrow is pointing to the left, and the arrow is then, the length of it is 3, so it's negative. The negative denotes that it's pointing to the left if we say right is positive. And you can look at them mathematically. Another way to look at this displacement, where we put this triangle here, is you could say it's the final position minus the initial position. Okay, or sometimes we use x0. So starting position will sometimes put a subscript 0 for x0, and then ending position will put an xf or just x sometimes. But it's final minus initial, which would be -2. His location is -2 minus 1. His starting position is 1, so that's -3. So that's where that kind of comes from. However, had we done the exact same, system, so let me make a copy of that. Oops, sorry. Make a copy of it, and let's change the axes to where our number, because there's nothing that says that the number line has to be going positive to the right. That's just something that we've defined. But it's possible that you could say, well, this is 0, this is -1, -2, -3, 1, 2, and 3. In this case, you would say to the left is the positive direction. Now, the displacement is still to the left, and if you calculate the displacement by doing the change in position, right, where you ended, right, ended here, and we started here, so that part didn't change. All I did was change how I labeled the numbers. Then it's going to be 2 minus -1, because we're at 2, we start at -1, and that's going to be 3. And you can see, based off the vector pointing to the left, its length is 3, and thus but we said left was positive because the numbers are increasing to the left. So because left is positive and the arrow is pointing to the left, it's also +3. Okay? So in other words, the positive negative denotes the direction for a vector. So the question you might ask is like, hey, is it +3 or -3? Well, it depends. It depends on which way you define the positive or negative direction to be. Okay? And so that's kind of the main idea around displacement. The other thing we cover is the distance traveled. Distance traveled is how far the object actually traveled. And the thing is it is dependent on the path it takes. So, for example, like in this problem here, we might say like, well, there's a distinction. You might be like, well, we only cared about the starting and the ending, but distance traveled is a little bit different. Distance is actually how far you did move. So, for example, he went 2 units to the right, and then on this path, he went from 3 to -2. That's 5 units to the left. The distance traveled is actually 7 units, whatever the units would be. If these were meters, these aren't really meters, but they could represent meters. But I didn't put any units on here. But like there's 7 units, whatever the measurement of length here is. It's 7 units. And notice that there's not positive or negative, because when we say distance travel, we never say I traveled -50 meters. That doesn't really make any sense. Distance is always a positive quantity. It doesn't matter which way is positive. So we call it a scalar. Scalar has only a magnitude, has only an amount, does not have a direction associated with it, unlike the displacement. So in this scenario, the displacement is 3 units to the left, but the distance traveled is 7 units. Those are fundamentally different things. The next lesson, we'll go through several examples of kind of how to go about determining the displacement. So real quick, when it comes to steps to determining the displacement is we're going to draw the motion. This is such an important skill. Drawing the motion is building that foundational skill. A lot of physics problems, a lot of things, you have to sketch out the motion. This is such a key skill. We got to draw out the motion. I'll show you how to do that in a few examples. We want to draw the displacement vector. That's an arrow from where the initial position is to the final position, like we talked about in the previous lesson there. Step 3 is to assign positive and negative directions. Remember, it's not just automatic that right is positive and up is positive or whatever direction. We have to explicitly assign which way is the positive directions, and then we can identify the value of the displacement, whether it should be positive or negative. I know these will seem really basic and really but these are really foundational for you to be able to do more advanced problems, okay? So you want to get this down because there's so many students I've worked with who they don't have this foundational skill, and so then they struggle later on when it gets more complicated. So the problems might seem really simple and really easy now, but I promise you, this is a core skill that you really need to be successful in future more complex kinematics problems. So let's go through an example. We have an object moves 5 units to the right 5 units and then moves to the left 2 units. Okay, so very simple. We just draw a dot. You don't have to draw the whole number line. The number line is kind of that imaginary thing we just kind of imagine, but we just say like, okay, it's going to go 5 units to the right. That's 5 units. And you don't have to get the scale. You just want to get the general direction and the shape. And then it's going to move to the left 2 units here, from here to there. Okay, so draw the motion. Boom. That's all you have to do. Doesn't have to be fancy drawing. It just needs to be a draw and illustration of what you think the motion looks like. Just a bunch of dots. You don't have to be a great illustrator. Draw the displacement vector. That's an arrow for where it started. You got to know where it started to where it ended. So it is this part right here. And you'll always want to draw that from where it started to where it finished for the entire motion, okay? Or for the motion of interest, right? Whatever this object is. So we draw the displacement vector. Assign a direction to determine what the displacement is. Okay, so now we want to say, do we want right to be positive or left to be positive? In this case, we'll just make right positive. That's my default, but you can make any direction positive that you want, okay? And determine what the displacement is. Now we need to know the length of that. What is that? Well, we know from here to here is 5, and we know from here to here is 2, so that means this distance has to be 3 units, right? So then we assigned a direction. The displacement then is going to be 3 units pointing to the right. We said right was positive, so the displacement is 3 units to the right, positive 3. Now, part D is what is the distance traveled? Okay, distance traveled is you went 5 right and 2 left. That's 7 units. Okay, that's why the picture is so important. Don't just take the numbers and add them up, or don't just subtract them. That's a very common way. That's a common shortcut. Go through these steps. Draw the motion, draw the displacement vector, assign the direction, and determine the displacement. I assure you it will help you in future problems if you get this down really well. Okay? All right, example 2. Object goes to the left 10 meters and travels another 5 meters to the left. If left is the negative direction, what is the displacement and distance traveled? So let's go through it. So draw out the motion. Goes left 10 meters. So it's going to go from here to here. That's 10 meters. Just put another dot here. And then it's going to go left again 5 meters, say about that much. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to like take out a rule and measure things. You're just getting a rough idea of the motion. So that's drawing the motion there. Okay. Left is the negative direction. So they're saying, oh, actually, let's draw the displacement vector. Let's go through our steps. We started here. We ended here. Our displacement vector points like that. Okay? So that is our displacement vector. The arrow is super important. It's super important that you understand which direction. From the start to where it ends. That's the displacement vector. Okay? So the displacement vector. Now they're saying left is the negative direction, which implies right is the positive direction. That's the imaginary number line we're overlaying. Okay, so they told that to us. Sometimes that will happen. You will be told which way is the positive direction. Okay, and often it will look like just something like this. The arrow pointing is just implied the positive direction. Or in 2 dimensions, it may look like this. This is X and this is Y. They're implying positive direction, or they may state it in the problem explicitly. But here they told us left is the negative direction. So our displacement is to the left. What is that length? That length is 15. Okay, 15 meters. So our displacement is then going to be negative 15 meters because they said left was the negative direction. Okay, which meant right is the positive direction. What is the distance traveled? Well, it went 10 meters and then 5 meters. It went 15 meters total. Okay, that's the distance traveled, which, again, we don't care about the direction that it goes. We just only care for distance like that. Okay, let's look at another example. Now, it doesn't mean that everything has to be horizontal. So we might have a ramp here. A box has kicked up a ramp. Okay. It's kicked up a ramp. And it goes, so I draw a box, but we can just draw it as dots. It's going to go up 10 meters. And then it's going to come back down 10 meters. So we draw the motion, right? What's the displacement of the box during the motion and how far did it travel? Okay, so we draw our displacement vector. Now it started and ended in the same spot. So actually our displacement vector is nothing. It's just sitting right there. So we draw the displacement vector. It started and ended at the same spot. Assign the direction. We can say up the ramp is the positive direction, but the displacement here is actually going to be 0. So in the first half, it went up 10 meters. So that would have been a positive 10 meter displacement. Then it went down the ramp. And you notice that I've made the positive direction angled. It doesn't matter that it's 1D motion. The axes, which way the number line is going, doesn't have to be horizontal, doesn't have to be vertical. It can be any direction. But here the displacement is 0 because the arrow doesn't do anything. It doesn't go up. It doesn't go down. It just simply is 0 length. So the displacement is 0, not up or down. Now the distance traveled is different. It did go up 10 meters, back down 10 meters. That is 20 meters traveled. Okay? So that's kind of how the steps go when it comes to determining displacement. Like I said, it will get more complicated as we layer on more advanced kinematic variables and we start solving more complex problems. But this is the foundational piece for how you identify vectors and handling the displacement vector. Thanks for checking out this video. I hope you found it really helpful. If you'd like more support, maybe you need more multiple choice practice, maybe you just need more guidance and things like that, I have plenty of information on my website. If you look in the description below and go to www.bothellstemcoach.com, I will explain all the ways I help students be successful in their AP classes.